And so congratulations on you all taking on this challenge um, to become steady in your Krishna consciousness. And you are halfway through, more than halfway through now, right? Because it's the 19th today, and you started on July 1st. So how has it been going for you?
Sorry. I feel like I've felt a lot of difference in my mood
Mm-hmm.
since I started. Like I feel very much more even every day, and I feel a lot more grounded.
Yes, nice. Nice, thank you. Yeah, when we make a commitment, then you can see the reciprocation with Krishna, right? With the Lord. So the topic Bhagwan Narad asked me to address today is to speak about devotion and dependence and to feel Krishna's presence and mercy. So I picked this picture that we're depending on the Lord, right? We're reaching out our hand to him. And the Lord is also giving his mercy, right? So this is the process of devotional service of the process of Japa. And so I thought we will first define what is devotion. Uh, there is a book called Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, or the Nectar of Devotion, which is written by Rupa Goswami, one of the teachers in our line. And I've written the Sanskrit here, but if I will just do the English, he defines devotion like your japa practice is part of devotion or loving service to the Lord. And so this transcendental loving service to the Supreme Lord is favorably is called devotional service or bhakti, right? And what are the characteristics? It's without desire for any material profit or gain through our activities. In other words, it's not transactional. Not that, okay, Lord, I'm going to chant japa for you today, but in return, can you fix this problem? Of course, in the beginning stage, if we are in this position where we cannot be without a desire, um, it's okay. Better to approach the Lord than to approach someone else, because the Lord can fulfill all our desires. No, He can also not only fulfill our desires, but He'll purify them too. So, if as a result of fulfilling our desires, we are going to have more problems down the line, then He will modify the desire or modify the result He gives us. And also, there is no philosophical speculation. No, we don't depend on our mind, we're not looking to justify what our mind says, but we follow the books of wisdom that we have, the wisdom literature. When we serve the Lord and when our japa practice, our sadhana, we call it, our discipline, is to engage in this service of calling on the Lord's holy name with loving devotion, with the sole idea to please Him, because the Lord likes that we call upon Him, right? Just like the father likes it when the child calls on the father. No, he likes the call of the child. That is a devotion. Now contrast this to dependence. Prabhupada says that um, we should chant japa in a way like the child crying for its mother, like in a very dependent situation. So the question becomes, we are all praying, so many people pray to the Lord. Whose prayer does the Lord answer? Right? So the person who prays in the mood of complete surrender, full dependence, is the person whose prayer Krishna listens to. And this process of depending or surrendering, not sometimes surrendering in the material world has a different connotation. No, the surrendering to the Lord um, is what gets the Lord's mercy, right? Gets His attention. So the surrendering process is called Sharanagati in the Sanskrit, and it has 6 limbs. So this is a very famous verse. Anukulasya sankalpa patikulya shavarjanam rakshishyati vishwaso goptripte varanam tatha atma nikshepa karpanye sadvidha sharanagati. So there are 6 parts here. And for those who are like, are very visual like me, I find it easier to look at it in terms of like a list, right? The main thing of the 6 is this thing, which is Gotripte Varanam Tatha, that one considers Krishna as our only maintainer and protector. So this is the backbone of our surrender. And on this backbone, these other 5 things list, right? We are convinced that Krishna is the only person who will protect and maintain us. It's not our money, it's not our friends, it's not our relatives, it's not our bank balance, right? It's not who we know in that sense, but that Krishna is a person who will maintain us. Of course, he may act through his agents, but we understand that the only person who will come through for us is the Supreme Lord. And then based on this, the backbone, these are the other 6 principles, right? So we accept things favorable for service. And the other side of it is we reject things unfavorable for bhakti. So like you've taken on this Japa challenge, right? You've taken on this challenge to chant a fixed number of rounds every day, at least for this month, right? You've made some commitment. And in order to do that, you may have had to give something up. You may have had to give up time you spend on the phone. You may have to give up going to bed late. So giving up things which are unfavorable for service. These 2 are easy, right? And then the Raksha Shyati Vishwas. So that means we have faith that Krishna will give us protection. No matter what problem we have, the Supreme Lord is the one who will give us protection. And because of these, we also understand we surrender ourselves completely. We depend on Krishna completely. Just like a child, when the child is with his parents, he doesn't have to worry about anything. No, he doesn't have to worry where his meal is coming from. He doesn't have to worry about someone bullying him, right? He doesn't have to worry that he'll get into trouble. Right? He doesn't have to worry which direction he has to go, right? He completely depends on the parents. So similarly, we also depend completely on Krishna. Not that we don't make an effort, right? We depend completely on Krishna for the result. You're chanting your japa. What result Krishna gives, that's up to him, right? We do our best and Krishna does the rest. The result is up to Krishna. Our job is we are going to make our best effort to please him when we call on his name in a mood of complete helplessness. And then this one, the karpaniya, that means to remain very humble or meek, right? That we don't have any qualifications. And Krishna, I really need you, but I'm not qualified to call on your name. So I'm begging you to please help me when I go on this, when I try to fulfill this vow I have taken to chant a number of rounds, a number of your holy names on each day. So with this in mind, we can think of how can we invoke Krishna's presence. And we said, to feel Krishna's presence or to make ourselves aware, to be aware of Krishna's presence. I will cite you 2 examples from our scripture, from our books of wisdom. One is this. This is from the Mahabharata, which is the great epic of Greater India, in which there is this pastime, historical episode of 2 cousins, right? Cousin brothers who were vying for the same throne. So the Pandavas were like the good guys, you may say. Rightfully the throne belonged to them. But when when the throne was, when their father died, who was the previous king, these 5 Pandavas, these brothers were too young to take up the throne. So their uncle, who was blind, and therefore because of his physical defect, he could not take on the throne. He took over the throne in the meantime, just like as the protector, right? And then this uncle, he wanted his children then to inherit the throne. He did not want to relinquish the throne to the rightful heirs, the Pandavas. And the king who was greedy, his name was Dhritarashtra. His sons were called the elder son was called Duryodhan, and they were very greedy to keep the powers to themselves, and so they would not relinquish not even a little bit of land so that the Pandavas could live their lives. They were actually Kshatriyas, or like the class of administrators or warriors, royalty, and so they did not agree. So they tried everything. They tried to come to a compromise. They tried to do it with diplomacy, but they would not relinquish the throne, right? So, and so part of the intrigue that Duryodhan played was he tried to cheat the Pandavas out of the kingdom by inviting them to a gambling match. So one of the codes of conduct for those who are in the administrative class, like the warriors, the rulers, is if someone challenges you, you cannot not honor a challenge. So they challenged them to a gambling match, which was rigged. And during this match, the Pandavas, they lost everything. They even lost themselves. And then they said, there's nothing more to wager. And then the Duryodhan reminded them, no, you do have a wife. You can put her as the as the prize. So when they did that, they again lost, and so their wife was lost. So then the Pandavas, the Kauravas, they dragged their wife, was Draupadi, into the assembly hall and treated her like a common person, not like a princess that she was. And out of their envy and malice, they tried to disrobe her. So Draupadi is holding on to her sari to protect her honor. She's calling to her husbands, can you please protect me? No response. She's calling to the king. She's calling to the grandfather, to all the elders and the priests, the teachers who are there in the hall. Nobody can help her. Finally, in all helplessness, she puts up her arms in the air and says, hey, Govinda. She calls on Krishna. And then when Krishna hears this cry, he, like we see here in the picture, he's supplying unlimited amount of cloth. And the Dusashan, the evil brother, is pulling on the cloth, but he's not able to see the end of the cloth. And Draupadi saves her honor. So she called to Krishna in utter helplessness. So this is a very common, like a very well-known example of calling for Krishna in utter dependence. The other example is of Gajendra the elephant. This elephant in his previous life was the king Indradumna. And then for some reason, he became an elephant in his next life. And he had, as a male elephant, he had a family and a whole herd of female elephants and babies. And he went into a river to bathe. And while he was there trying to enjoy in the river, a crocodile got hold of his foot. Now, normally the elephant is so strong, right? You say you have the strength of elephants, that he should be able to get out of the clutches of the crocodile. But because he was not in his home base, he was not in his element, he was in the water, he was losing strength. And the crocodile was in her home base, and she was like so powerful. So this struggle went on for about a month. And the elephant is beginning to lose strength and is giving up. And then somehow he remembers that he had, in his past life, he had these prayers that he would say to the Lord. So he called out to the Lord in utter helplessness. And when he called out to the Lord came riding on his eagle carrier, Garuda, and he chopped off the head of the crocodile, and the elephant was saved. No? So sometimes in our lives, we may also have this, we have a time when we see there is no other way and we just surrender. Sometimes people who come to Krishna consciousness is when they are like really down, and then they make a prayer to the Lord. No, if you are there, please help me, or please show me. And then, sometimes they get a book, some devotee comes to them, they may hear the holy name. And this is how they feel Krishna's presence. Now, when we are doing japa, we are calling on Krishna's name. Are we able to feel Krishna's presence, right? Even it may be that, we are having a very good day. When we chant with focus, Krishna is very merciful. And when we chant the name, we are able to feel his presence. Or sometimes it may be the dark night of the soul. We try our best, right? And nothing. Right? In that case, is that failure, or is that also Krishna manifesting his mercy? What is it? It depends on how we take it, right? There's a very good example in our book of wisdom of Narad Muni, Narad Muni is one of the sages in our line, and it describes that he was a small boy, a 5-year-old boy, and he only had his mother. His mother was widowed, and they were taking care of some saints during the rainy season in India. In India, during the rainy season, the mendicants, the wandering monks, they stay in one place because it's raining and they cannot walk through the flooded streets and through the swamps. And so his mother was serving these saints. And he was a little boy, so he was helping his mother. And after the 4 months were over, the saints left. But while Narad was serving them, here he looks like older, not like a little child. He was hearing what they were talking about. They were talking about Krishna. And then he asked them, after they had finished eating, he would clean up their plates and he would ask them if he can take the remnants. So he had this association. So after the saints left, his mother one day was also bitten by a snake, and she also left her body. She passed away. So this little boy, 5-year-old, is left all alone. So because he had heard from the saints, he was thinking that, I will find Krishna, I will find the Supreme Lord. So he left the place where he was with his mom and he began to wander through the world. He passed towns, villages, forests, like that. And he was meditating on the Lord like he had seen the sages do, how they taught him. So one day in his meditation, he saw actually the form of Vishnu with 4 hands. And he was so happy. Oh my, the Lord has come before me. But just as the Lord had come before him, he disappeared. So then Narad thought, what did I do? How did I lose the audience of the Lord? What is wrong with me? And so he tried. He kept trying and trying, but he could not see the Lord. At that time, the Lord within his heart told him, said these words. Now, who would like to read this?
O virtuous one, you have only once seen my person, and this is just to increase your desire for me. Because the more you hanker for me, the more you will be freed from all material desires. Bhagavatam 1:6-22.
Yeah, thank you. So the Lord told him, no, you have seen me only once, and I have disappeared from you just so that you can increase your desire to see me. So when sometimes we are chanting Japa and we are having difficulty, right? We are having uh, problems connecting with the Lord is just sometimes playing hide and seek with us, right? He wants to disappear. Like sometimes the mother plays hide and seek with the child. The child is looking for the mother is hiding, and she's having so much fun. The child looking for her. And then when it looks like the child is just going to give up or starts to cry and is really desperate, then the mother reveals herself. So when we chant japa, sometimes the Lord is also like that. No? He is increasing our desire or our hankering to see him. And to increase our desire, we have to give up all other desires, right? We have to increase our focus on the Lord. And so what seems like a failure, what seems like an obstacle, is actually not an obstacle, right? It's the mercy of the Lord. It's the mercy coming in a different way to help us increase our desire to chant his name, to call out even more sincerely, with greater longing, more feelingly to the Lord, right? So this is what, like it happened in the case of Narad Muni. He's one of the teachers in our line. So it also happens in our lives that Krishna wants us to surrender a little bit more, right? To focus a little bit more, to pay a little more attention, to go a little deeper. That's what Krishna is asking us to do. So just from this, so I shared these few things, and I was wondering, in your Japa journey, you are like more than 50% done. Have you encountered when was some? So I have some questions, and some pearls. Um, Maybe before we go there, I will ask you: can you would you like to share a time when the Lord just revealed himself, right? It was like so amazing, not just during Japa, but in your life while you've been on this challenge. For me, I was one time when I was doing my internship, I was serving in a hospital in Harlem. So at that time, the hospital we served in had a drug detox unit. And, the people when we are on call, these people come to detox from drugs. And usually these are the last people we would see because quite a few of them were there because they were really down and out and they wanted a place where they could just crash for the night. Some of them were, of course, sincere. They wanted to detox and, improve their lives. But some of them were just there. They made a good start, but they couldn't keep up. So, with all admissions who were like more critical, we would see this last. So one time I was given, I had an admission in the detox unit. And when I went into the room, he was given a single room, which meant already that he was probably a little sicker than the rest of them. I was shocked to see the room. The room was like completely in a disaster. There were papers all over, clothes all over, and the patient I was going to see, he was seated in his chair. There was a tray of food in front of him, and his head was in the tray, and he was out. He was completely unconscious. And I thought, oh my God, like, how am I going to, I have to wake this person up, and then I have to get a history, right? It looks like he's very agitated. So somehow I got his attention. And then I asked him, like, okay, what medicines do you take? And so he gets up, he has this one of these garbage bags, and he starts rummaging through the garbage bag and he's throwing things out, right? He's looking for the medicines he's taking. And out of that garbage bag came a book. It was Easy Journey to Other Planets. This was like 3 o'clock in the morning. I least expected it. And I was thinking, oh my God, Krishna is here. I had already made a judgment. This person is so agitated. He is going to be a difficult one. But then I got the realization, Krishna, you are showing me that even in this state, he has the presence of mind to understand that this book is part of his valuable treasure. It was like really, I felt, wow, Krishna, it has been a long night, but here's your mercy. You're showing me that you are present. So, sometimes we chant japa, it may be like this. Sometimes it may not be like that. So would someone or who would like to share an experience they had during this time, during your journey, where you felt Krishna's presence? Where it felt like, this endeavor which I'm doing, Krishna is paying attention. He's noticing I'm trying. If you're too shy to speak up, or it can be also that we have a moment where it's very difficult, right? And then how do we break through? So how we break through the difficulties is like we can offer some prayers before we start chanting japa, that we are so disqualified. My mind is very difficult to control. It is going everywhere except to you and to what I'm supposed to do now. I can hardly be present because I have so many things getting, clamoring for attention. But you please, Krishna, I need you. I need to be able to connect with you. This is my time with you. So allow me to be present. Let my mind be still so I can actually connect with you. Just like when we spend time with a loved one, then we want to be present with them, right? We want to be there during the time we have with them. So this japa time is our time with Krishna, right? So we want to make the best use of it and to be prepared. So there are many prayers that we can sing. Bhakti Vinod Thakur has many prayers in a book called Sharanagati. And even a simple prayer that, it's been, I'm being on this Japa challenge. And then today I'm beginning the next day, right? I'm beginning a day. So can you please help me connect with you? Help me show me that actually my endeavor is not unnoticed, right? So that you reciprocate with me. So it's not only important to chant properly, to hear, to speak every syllable, but also to listen to our japa. Because if we pay attention to our listening, then we can also call out with more feeling, right? So we speak every syllable, and we'll listen to the feeling that we are expressing in our japa. After japa, we can ask ourselves questions, right? When did I feel Krishna's presence in my japa today? Did I feel his mercy? How present was I in this relationship? No? So some things like this will help us keep our focus on the holy name, on our practice. So ultimately, what we are trying to do is we say that the holy name is Krishna present in his most accessible form. No, he can be with us anytime, anywhere, whether we are happy or we are sad, in the day or night, right? If it is even at the time of death, right? If we practice calling on his name all the time and feeling his presence, feeling that our life depends on him, then we will be able to go through this challenge and then continue with this relationship that we have started with Krishna and make it stronger and deeper. So I will stop here, and we've got about 15 minutes, right, to have reflections, questions, shares, corrections.
Being one of the 6 items that you had mentioned, having faith that Krishna will protect you, it seems like that's a lifetime like commitment. Like it's not like you just have this realization one day and it just you're good for the rest of your life. It's like Krishna's always curating all these different kind of external situations or obstacles to where we have to go into that mindset. Could you explain a little bit about that? Like it also feels too like the chanting is what's supporting that mindset, obviously. And I don't know, I was just wondering if you could expand a little bit more or unpack that point of always having faith that Krishna will protect us.
Yes, it's like knowing, for having that assurance that Krishna will never let me down, no matter what situation I am in. No, usually it doesn't mean that we don't make an effort to protect ourselves, right? We don't put ourselves in dangerous situations knowingly, right? We are diligent to avoid dangers, and then if we are faced with a difficult task, then we try to do things to protect ourselves first. I can give you the example, like when Krishna's mother, when she was married, so her name was Devaki. The brother, whose name was Kamsa, he was so happy to drive his sister to her in-laws, right, to the place of her husband. So he took on the reins and he was driving his sister, who was now a bride, to her husband's house. And while he was driving, there was a voice in the sky which said, "You foolish Kamsa, do you know that the child of your sister will be the cause of your death?" And Kamsa, by nature, he was demoniac. He was evil. So soon as he heard this, he thought, "What? The child of my sister is going to kill me?" He grabbed the hair of his sister and he took out his sword with his other hand. He was about to kill her. Right? He thought, just let me get away, get rid of the cause of whoever is going to kill me. So at that time, uh, Devaki's husband, her newlywed husband, he was quick to think. He said, "Wait a minute, Kamsa. Just listen to me. You are such a well-reputed king. You are very accomplished. You are known to be very religious, right? You're known to be spiritual. Take a moment. Devaki is not going to be the cause of your death. The child from Devaki is going to be the cause of your death. Besides, she's a woman, and you don't kill women. And this is an auspicious moment. You do not want to take the karma of killing a woman. Let's, so he said, how about this? Whenever she has children, I will personally deliver the children to you. And then you can kill the children. You don't have to worry about killing her now. So it's not that he just gave up his hands and thought, okay, Krishna will protect me. No, he also thought, how can I delay this danger? I have to do everything I can to protect Krishna. So we are not saying that we become passive. No, we should try our best, because it's the duty in the Bhagavatam says of every living entity to protect their lives, right? So we should do whatever we can. And like in the case of Draupadi, when we find that we are trying everything, right? We are with our own strength, we try with, our friends, our relatives, with the law, with the help of society. And and then we also pray to the Lord, no? That you please guide me to, I know that you will protect me. And when I see the protection come in the form of your agents, give me the intelligence that I can recognize them and understand that these are your agents who are there to protect me, right? So like that, we should not be passive, but we should do our best, right? And then expect Krishna, and still have faith that, my best will not still protect me, but Krishna will always protect me. And and then sometimes it may be that Krishna doesn't protect us, right? It may be like you are in a car and you are driving and you're going to get into it. You feel like, okay, oh, someone is hitting you, and you cannot do anything to protect yourself. But we can still call on to Krishna, because then instead of losing our life, we may just lose a limb, right? Or, like instead of the car getting totaled, we may just lose a bumper, right? Our duty, we have to maintain this enthusiasm, right? Utsaha, this determination that Krishna will protect us. In what form the protection comes, that's Krishna's business, right? And then whatever he sends us, we accept that this is what the Lord has sent for me. What is the lesson here for me? How do I grow from here? We can be grateful. No, I was supposed to lose my life, but I lost my car. Or the car was supposed to be totaled. I lost, it won't cost me as much to protect this. So like this, if we see the hand of the Lord and are grateful for what he gives, then we will be able to see the protection of Krishna. It may not be the way we think it is, because Krishna will give us, will respond to us in ways in which we can also build our muscle, by which we can grow our faith. And at the same time, he will stretch us, right? Just like when you build muscle, if you keep lifting the weight that you are comfortable with, how will your strength increase, right? We have to stretch. So Krishna stretches us. He stretches us, but he doesn't stretch us that much that we will break. That faith we should have. And as we progress in our spiritual life, and we have these experiences, and we read the books of wisdom, and we see so many devotees going through so much more difficulty than we can ever imagine, and how by the determination and the mercy of Krishna they were able to overcome those obstacles. That will also give us faith, and help us also increase our faith. If we increase our faith, that means we will be sure, right? That Krishna will never let us down, which has not been our experience in the material world, right? Yeah. Is that okay?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, it just made me reflect again that it always goes back to sadhana. I've seen many people, they take up the practice, their faith is there, and then once they stop chanting, it just kind of dissipates and it's not the same. And then they go back to chanting and it comes back up. So it's that steadiness that reminds us that Krishna is taking care of us. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah, we can pray to Krishna that we can continue our practice. No, every day we can pray to Krishna that, I have come this far in this relationship. Please don't let me go back. Don't let me give you up. Yeah.
Anybody else have anything they want to share? Nardi, Rafaela, Lana, Isabella, Shashi. Shashi always has great questions.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Mataji, thank you very much for your lecture. And it was a lot of good points and realizations that you shared with us. Please accept my humble obeisances. I just wanted to kind of reflect on what you said about to see Krishna every day in the difficult situations, and the story that you shared for about that day in the hospital when you thought that it would be difficult to take care of the patient. I can relate. I'm also in medical field, and um, I can share also the story when I saw Krishna in difficult times, when you don't think about him being there, but you know he was there. 2 years ago, my dad was very sick, and I'm from Russia, so I had to fly to Russia and bring some money to my family, to my mom, to take care of my dad, and expenses, because my dad had cancer. And I was flying, and I was crossing to Russia to the customs. And now with the sanctions and all, you only can bring certain amount of money, and they would check, right? So I had cash on me, and that cash was what I brought to my family. I just cleared my bank accounts. That was I brought to my mom, and also some money that I owed for the ticket for the girl who helped me buy a ticket within Russia, because of issues right now, it's not possible to buy in Russian tickets there, whatever. So this money I had, it was just enough, like not to get in trouble, but knowing customs over there. And I heard a lot of stories that not every person there on the customs would be very, genuine and following the rules. Like if some would say see cash, they would find the situation to, get me or take some money out. Or so I was very nervous, and this guy in customs asking me, "Do you bring any cash?" And I says, I could lie, but I says yes, because I'm like super low. Like I am afraid to lie, right? So I said yes, and he said, "Well, let me see." So I opened my wallet and I take out all my cash, and like it's like $10,000, and that's in cash. So everybody looking, and he's like, okay. And I said, well, can we do it in private? Because, I don't want all the customers, people see it, like I'm still have to walk, and it's Russia, hello. So he took me in the room, and he opened all my bags and started to search for more, because that amount was acceptable, but he thought I might have more. And I was just like, oh my God, like they're gonna take my money right now. I have to, like, what to do with my dad. And I was just holding my breath. But he opened my bags, and I was carrying with me Krishna book to go home to read there. And so he opened my bag and he looked at that Krishna book. And you know how usually custom people, they do it quick. They just throw your stuff back, but he kind of stopped and he took it very carefully, and he put it aside, and he went through my stuff very, very carefully, just not throwing anything. And he just said, "Is that all you have?" I said, "Yes." And then another lady comes, and she's like, "Any problem here?" And he's like, "No, no problem." And he put my book back, and I just inhale. I was like, wow, that was Krishna present, because that behavior, you're not gonna. And I look at the guy, he was not devotee, he didn't have any tulsi, nothing. It was just that Krishna's mercy for calming me down, and when I didn't think it was such a mundane situation. And that taught me to see Krishna and little things in everyday life in difficult situations. So thank you for reminding this to us. I actually forgot about this episode until you told episode about your day at the hospital. And I was gonna share that, and I really, really appreciate your inputs. And for the Japa challenge, in my case, just a sharing again that we're doing this Japa challenge, and I'm working on steadiness, because I would go chant and then not chant and then chant again. So like I thought I was talking to Bhagavan Narada, Naradi Devi, Dasi, Lila, Naradi Lila, and then so another speaker. So I figured out that I rather go slow but surely and just commit to a certain number of rounds and just work on my steadiness. So whenever we did this commitment to July challenge, I thought, well, I'm gonna do what I'm doing, but I'm just gonna kind of commit it that I cannot fail. And actually, I can tell that I don't have attraction to Krishna's names, like in that Shastaka verse. Like I'm so unfortunate that I have no attraction to them. But that commitment, I feel like Krishna appreciates this commitment because as for now, I'm going through some challenge. The very big challenge, it's something that really, it's a difficult situation for me that kind of happened before. And it's like another, it's like Krishna brought me to this similar situation that was happening years ago. And now he kind of give me more realizations of how to handle it. And I just realized today that the way I decided just to surrender and not fight anymore and just like give my hands up and said, I understand that that situation will hurt me. And that's according to my karma. But I think that steadiness and chanting brought me some realizations from Krishna that I would never realize before. And I really accepting what's coming, and I understand that it's gonna be bad. But again, how you said that Krishna will still help us no matter what. Sometimes he will send us to situation and he will just want to see how we act, or maybe humble us down a little. It's all for good, even if it hurts, it's all for good. So I appreciate your input. That's my personal realization. Hare Krishna. And I just wanted to add a little bit. I think we met before, Mataji. I think you were in Kirtanya Sadahariya initiation.
Yes, yes.
Yes, I think I met you there. Hare Krishna. It was very interesting when I saw that you're going to give a talk. It was very nice to hear you. I appreciate you. Hare Krishna, and my humble obeisances.
Thank you for sharing. That was very nice to share your realization and also the resolve that you have now from the previous experience of continuing with Japa. So it's inspiring for us.
Okay. Any last questions, comments, reflections? Anybody?
Just a quick reflection. Thank you so much for your wonderful presentation. And I took some screenshots to kind of keep with me and so I can keep reflecting. But one point that you made about Krishna sometimes disappears from our perception or and we can't materially get it back. We have to just be more surrendered and more focused and connecting in that way rather than trying to mechanically get it back. But I was just reflecting on that point that sometimes I've seen with newer people when they get in, Krishna really gives them a lot of mercy. And even when you're ongoing with your practice, sometimes he disappears, and instead of thinking, oh, this doesn't work, or oh, this, let me pull back from my practice, you have to kind of dive into it deeper.
Yeah, nice reflection. There's a Christian story that Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj would say. His grandmother would tell him that, when things are going well, you are in the right hand of the Lord. When things are not going well, when things are challenging, you are in the left hand of the Lord. No matter what, you are always in the hands of the Lord. No? It's very similar to our theology, like we are always in the hands of the Lord.
I was also thinking kind of the same thing that Nari was thinking with what you shared about the story of the little boy and how it was part of Krishna's like plan to not reveal himself as much, like to increase our desire to seek him out. And it definitely like rang true for something that I've been experiencing, because when I first like got into Krishna consciousness, like I was seeing like a lot of like images like through meditation, and it was like very like intense for me, and I just like wanted to see more and more, and like I was like seeking out this experience of having like a really like full like out of body like meditation experience. And I realized like it wasn't happening for me the more and more I tried. Like I got that initial like huge image, and then afterwards it kind of went away, and like I would only get like flickers. And it just helps like solidify that, because like I was kind of thinking, okay, well then I just have to, keep going and like I guess fix the arrangement of everything else in my life to where like I'm able to see this again. And that kind of just like solidified what I was thinking with that story that you shared.
Yeah, it sounds so much like the story, no? Like he appeared to you and then now he's like asking you to go to really like find him again. And you have that desire, you're not you're not giving up. Like Narad didn't give up the meditation, but he kept on. That with you have the faith that if I keep going, I will see him again. So you have that faith, which keeps you going, which is very nice.
Yeah, and I think I am seeing him in ways that that was like very different than the way I did before with my like vision. And
Yes.
I think it's really important to like now learn to see him in everything instead of like seek out this wonderful like meditation experience, but to like find him in my everyday life. Um, and then like realize that it's not that I'm not seeing him, it's that I wasn't like looking for him.
Yes. Yes. That's beautiful. You are becoming aware of him, no? Like, yeah, very nice. That's beautiful growth, Yeah.